New at 5, a new bill in the state Senate would allow school districts more leniency with rules from the state capitol, but at a trade-off for academic improvements.
It's not a law yet, but it's been a priority in the Senate since they rolled out their legislative priorities earlier this year. Fox 23's Devin Lyon joins us now. Devin, you talked to education leadership in the state Senate about how this legislation would impact our school districts.
That's exactly right. I spoke with State Senator Adam Pugh, who wrote this bill. He told me this is one of several attempted changes to Oklahoma's education system from the state capitol. Pugh says there's a need for innovative changes that could put Oklahoma's education back in the right direction. However, there's still a lot of discussion needed around this bill.
Right now, there's not really a manner that allows school districts to be flexible and serve their communities in a very unique way. There's really no other program like this in the country.
Senate Bill 555 is dubbed the Education Sandbox Program. It allows leniency to some state rules for school districts in return for better academic performance.
Senate Bill 555 really just incentivizes school districts to innovate. And I wanted to do so in a way where we could potentially have 520 different solutions. And so it's meant to be an individual negotiation with the State Department of Education.
Here's how it would impact your school if it became law. Any school district would be allowed to send in an application to the State Board of Education, requesting exemption from a singular education rule that they view as burdensome. That school district would then meet with the OSDE. If approved, it comes at a trade. That school district would be exempt from that rule for a 3-year period. But under the agreement that they would show substantial progress in a key academic area chosen by the Board of Education.
So they would go to the State Department of Education and say, hey, if you allow us relief from even one particular part of accreditation, in exchange for that relief, you're going to see, as an example, a 2-point increase in the NAEP, which is the National Reading Test that we administer. And again, I want school districts to be unique, and I recognize that 520 different schools across the state of Oklahoma, and they represent diverse communities in different parts of the state. And so what works for one part of the state may not work for another.
These applications can be denied or even renewed for another 3 years.
What happens if a school district doesn't hold up their end of the deal on this agreement?
It's not meant to be punitive. And that was actually a really big part of this legislation I wanted to emphasize. Now, I want us to be good stewards of the tax dollars, but we're not meant to bop somebody over the head if they tried something innovative and it didn't work.
The legislation passed through the Senate Education Committee with only 1 no vote. State Senator Joanna Dossett from Tulsa wanted some of the wording tightened up around what rules a district could request to be exempted from.
Could this in any way impact a school district's participation in the minimum salary schedule that we pay teachers, or participation in the teacher retirement system?
That's a good question, Senator. I guess technically the answer would be yes to that.
A concern for this bill expressed by Dossett is what rules should be off the table for schools to be exempt from. And without tightened language in the bill, could we become too relaxed on administrative rules and state law?
I need to be a no today, but I'm happy to keep working with the author as we move forward with this bill. Thank you.
I did learn Tennessee and Utah are the only other states in the country to do something similar, except theirs is a county-wide exemptions based on data. This bill is wanting exemptions by application per Oklahoma district. I've reached out to several parties that this bill could impact. There's still a lot of questions around this piece of legislation. I'm working to get those answers for you on air and on Fox23.com. Live in studio, covering news that matters. Devin Lyon, Fox 23 News.
The bill would require the USDE to send a 3-year report on the Sandbox program's progress to the state Senate and to the governor's office. The bill will now go before the entire state Senate for further consideration.